that uncle, that crazy old uncle at Christmas when he would sit there and he'd kind of walk up and he'd tell you, look at the family with a straight face and say, all of a sudden, these three guys walk into a bar. Well, I happen to know the other two. One of them is out on his yacht in the middle of the Caribbean. So David's on assignment. We're going to hold him to it next week. So we got RT. We got the Ray Trevino the third. He is a big dog over there at Pecos Operating Company. And I mean, he's got a wonderful podcast, The Crude Truth. Great numbers. Welcome. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Stu, as always, for having me on this two podcasters edition. David, again, is out on assignment in the Caribbean. I hope he comes back.
Oh, yeah.
If nothing else, hopefully he finds a good tan and maybe a little bit of a smile. Who knows?
I got some stuff on that, but David, we love you. We miss you. And, but we're going to talk about you because your Energy Absurdity is absolutely one of the best Substacks to subscribe to. And today is no exception. I mean, we're talking Germany is going nuts. And RT, it was weird that Germany has been the poster child for years on renewable energy. They shut down their nuclear reactors.
Yes.
Then they have to fire back up all of their coal plants.
Yep.
And they're having to tear down wind farms because they got coal plants there. And they've run all their business out. BASF has had to move to China for their fertilizer. And so David's article on his Substack, it'll be in the show notes, was very simple when it was like, is this intentional? RT, you can't be this evil and stupid at the same time.
It blows me away. The way that Germany has been, I guess they've been the poster child on what not to do.
Exactly.
Okay. And I didn't quite know. I was like, well, I don't know exactly about
but California, Newsom has been saying, we're going to follow Germany.
That's
Okay.
let's table that discussion for a second and get back to Germany, because I even had a great Substack article last week about how just Germany's economy will not do well this year due to their decisions that they've made on renewables over consistent, efficient, reliable, abundant, inexpensive fuel sources. And I think in that in David Blackmon's article, excuse me, David, he even mentioned that I think there was a graph that they're now using less. Thank you so much, Megan. And of course, that was just a shout out to our waitress today. Again, we're coming to you from the Flying Saucer in downtown Fort Worth. Thank you as always to them. And if you guys ever get a chance to get over here and have a cold pint, have a good pint at the Flying Saucer.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Great people.
Yes. Back to David Blackmon. There's a graph in there, and hey, from the generation of look at the graphs, already
it's weird.
Germany is now using less electricity than they were in the 1970s.
Yes, 1978. And I can actually remember 1978 since Noah and I were wonderful friends. But in 1978, you can see that they have demolished their all of their stuff. VW has even closed some of their plants, and they're not building any new plants. So the gross domestic product GDP for Germany is down. And then the next thing is, so goes Germany, goes the EU.
Wow,
so
that's right.
I mean, it is the largest one there. So if Governor Newsom, who was just seen having lunch with the Clintons in Mexico, it was pretty funny. But if you sit back and take a look, California is having the same high energy costs. And the reason, RT, that he points out in this article is the fact that the energy is so expensive, businesses have left and people can't afford to run anything at home. So they're trying to use as least amount of energy, and they're still spending more.
Jesus. That's an oxymoron if I ever said so myself.
I resemble that remark. The part.
I tell you what, this just the whole upside down world, and we talk about ESG, right? And here Germany has gone the way that we should not go. just think about the year that we're having this year in 2024. ESG investments have tanked.
Oh, they
not?
have. And it's just unbelievable. BlackRock lost $5 trillion last year in their ESG funds. And so what was so fun was COP28, when heads were exploding on COP28, when they had to include natural gas. Remember, the president of COP28 was from the UAE.
That's right.
And he's an oil company guy. And so they said, we'll transition away when reasonable.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I thought I was going to see Lurch and Carey just absolutely go. Well, here's the point. BlackRock, Larry Fink has said, we are investing in oil and gas. Here's the biggest anti-oil guy on the planet now trying to say that the investors need their money back.
Yeah.
Vanguard's doing the same thing, and all of the others. And the discussions I'm having, RT, are phenomenal. People are wanting to say, hey, I'm getting like killed in California.
Okay.
And we've talked about, you and I have laughed about the fact that U-Haul, the highest rates in U-Haul history are coming from California to Texas.
Oh.
Nobody wants to go back.
No.
But it's the tax deduction and investing in ESG for folks that actually know what they're doing. I've got a bunch of other stuff coming around.
Wait, investing in ESG that actually know what they're doing. What do you mean by that?
Because ESG investing can also include natural gas. You can't go to the grid without having natural gas. Now, here's where ESG investing comes in. You can have Bitcoin mining. You can also just invest directly into the EMP operators. And the way that happens is if they are doing carbon capture, if they're watching their emissions, if they are actually following the regulations, you can have the right EMP company doing and following best practices. And you get the tax deduction.
Now, there is a difference between a tax deduction and a subsidy, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know that, bad dog. Which one is a subsidy? Is Tammy Nemeth brought this out on the show on Monday, and David was still out on his yacht in the middle of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And Tammy was way cool. She said, you know, a subsidy is like the high price of energy is so high that they have to give a subsidy to the end users in Germany or the EU or the UK. The UK has had to have subsidies go in.
Okay.
Or subsidies come into the disproportionately impacted communities in the US, giving them a heat pump. But here's the bad part about subsidies. They don't work as intended.
Okay.
So all the subsidies do is help eliminate the higher cost, which is hurting the middle class, which is taking away from them. So with high costs of energy, you're wiping out the middle class and you're creating more poor people. Higher cost of energy. I kid you not.
And wow.
Tax incentives are from profits from companies. So if you look for tax incentives going in, all of a sudden the tax incentives actually make a huge difference because somebody had to make some profit in order to do that on EVs.
Yeah.
We can't go to EVs because you're going to get a $7,000 to $14,000 tax rebate. How much money do you have to make in order to get that you're going to save money and not pay that in taxes?
Oh, wow.
Think about that.
Yeah.
The average median income, I believe in the US, is around $86,000. If you're at $86,000 in the mid class, you're not going to be able to take advantage of an EV.
Yeah.
So I had a family member look at me the other day at Christmas, and I just had to leave. He said everybody can afford a new EV. I'm like, no. And then you can't even plug them in to charge them.
I know, because what if everybody was at your house? Would you have enough chargers to plug everybody up? No. You ever thought about that?
No, but it's even bringing in the grid. You can't bring in the grid because of the circuits.
Yeah.
There are people in California trying to buy EVs, but the grid is not capable of supporting more than 100 meg to a house.
Wow.
Oops.
Oops. There's just so much going on. I mean,
Oh,
and I'm glad you got, because a lot of people are like, well, it's nothing but a subsidy, right? Like, no, tax deductions are not subsidies. So
yeah.
I'm just glad you were able to make the difference.
Well, you knew the difference.
Well, I knew
You
the
were
difference.
teasing me up.
Well, teeing you up, right? Isn't that
No,
what that's-
teasing, because you do that to me all the time. That was intentional. It's like, guys, when I walk down the hall and RT will go, "Hey, stupid," and I answer it. So anyway,
I don't know. I don't know. What the-
yeah,
I got nothing on that one.
no, the truth hurts. Okay, so RT, when you sit back and we take a look at what's coming around the corner for energy, nuclear, your talk with Grace Stanky is phenomenal. I thought you did fabulous on that. And so she has some great things. We're seeing some great nuclear things coming around the corner. Um, the problem is the regulatory issues in the US. If you know your senator, if you know your Congress representative, reach out to them and call them, because it's not only the wind, it's not only the solar, it's nuclear, it's oil and gas, it is everything. Everything just getting shut down. There are 24,000 energy projects that they can't connect to the grid right now.
You know, I mean, when I can, and I'll tell you this, and I'll look at the camera, when I can figure out how to make $1 from nuclear, Pecos country is going into nuclear. That's, I'm not lying. So if anybody out there that's listening that has an idea, please let me know. Just from everything that they're doing, because guess what? How far can a nuclear sub travel?
Long way.
Forever. So why would I not want to produce an energy source that I could charge people for
Right.
forever? I mean, I'm not having to worry about, and I love my oil and gas, but I don't got to worry about pump maintenance, finding new sources of, I mean, heaven forbid. So, I mean, nuclear is doing great in other parts of the world, even in Japan, where they have probably seen the worst of nuclear. I kind of now looking at nuclear the way Thomas Edison used to go against Tesla with direct current.
Right.
And that Thomas Edison was showing all the negatives that Tesla's, which we all use today as his form of electricity, because Thomas Edison's is known creating the electric chair.
Right.
And something else, because he was trying to dismiss and scare everybody with Tesla's form of electricity. And yet I would say Japan probably has the 100% most reasons not to ever have nuclear.
Right.
And yet they supply most of their energy from nuclear there. Well, and the rest of the world is also doing more and more nuclear, but not in America.
No, it's because of regulatory issues. Legislation through regulatory issues equals higher energy prices.
But you know what? I don't see too many politicians that are really going nuclear, baby.
No, but I want to give a shout out to Doug Sandrich, who I'm going to introduce you to. I signed a petition. Yes, and I signed a petition, and it is for oil executives that are for nuclear. And I'm going to introduce you to him. And we've had Chris Wright sign it, and lots of others. David has signed it. Okay. And you didn't get the memo.
No, I did not. I did not. That's okay. I promise. It's at the top of my list. I tell you, we had a great 2023, and we're even having a better, more busy 2024. I mean, shoot, you and I were talking beforehand. I was like, how much time do I have to really work on everything that we got going on?
I'm going to be a testament here. He has no time. So, but you're one of the hardest working cats I know.
No, I tell you what, I always enjoy putting these out there, and I enjoy coming here I like doing them at the bar more. It's just more fun. It's not and it's a fun little break from the monotony of the day.
Oh, absolutely.
And the fact that you and I and David Blackmon get to sit here, laugh a little bit, but talk about energy.
Yep.
And we even had on a guest, Dr. Ed Ireland came in
the
studio.
Dr. Ireland.
Hopefully we'll have more people on this year. I think that was very fun.
Oh, I
think we should.
if you want to be on the three podcasters walk into the bar, we want to have a party with you. So come, just let us know. Reach out to either David Blackmon, RT, Ray Trevino III, or me, Stuart Turley on LinkedIn. And RT, how can they find you?
Oh, definitely on LinkedIn at Ray Trevino III or thecrudetruth.com.
Right.
We got, we're updating, but right now we got our website, oh my God, what is it? pecosoperating.com.
Right.
And we're gearing up for 2024.
You and I were looking in the like headlight and a deer in the headlight.
As we're getting closer and we roll this out, man, we're getting ready for Nape.
Isn't that fun?
And I've really been working on it. I work for an oil and gas company.
Right.
And so we're getting ready. We've got some great projects that we're doing in 2024 that we're going to actually have at Nape, have great digital showing of it, of some great new
the
deals.
podcast pavilion.
Yes, it's going to be the Nape. The Nape presents the Crude Truth with David Blackmon and Stuart Turley podcast pavilion.
Right.
Something like that. And but we want to say thank you to Nape Expo for allowing us to be out there.
Right.
We're gonna have a great podcast pavilion. So we're gonna have on some great guests, and we're even gonna have some wonderful people coming in.
Right. And I want to give a shout out to John Farrell and Aaron Summers over at Well Database. They've already kicked out to a huge email blast.
Yes.
You've got some folks lining up. I got some folks lining up. And they're a sponsor at Nape, and we're going to be doing live deal evaluations. So we got a whole team. We got live podcasts.
Yes.
We got live deal evaluations.
Yes.
And not every deal should you invest in. You want it validated? Hey, I know people.
And we may even be able to do a little light in happy hour while we're there. We'll see. We'll see.
I think so.
We'll know. We're not confirmed yet, but we don't know. And but I'm just excited. We got a great first quarter in 2024, Stu. David, hurry up and get back from assignment.
Right.
And I just thank y'all so much.
And he doesn't like being alone with me because I'm too funny. So with that, thank you all very much. Appreciate all of you.
Adios.